And we're back with day 3 of Kerbal Space Program. Now, when we left off, we realized we missed the opportunity of getting a bunch of science by using the instruments that we had already available. So let's just pack our ship with as much science as we can, and we'll do basically the same maneuver that we did last time. So again, we still need to test the goddamn heat shield as well. And one thing to consider is that we want to keep our science protected under the heat shield. So let us use a payload service bay so we can open this bad boy and just put a bunch of stuff in there. Let's see what we have. So so we have what are you doing? That's not Can I have my barometer back, please? Alright, get this trash out of here. Let's do this again. Open up. So we're gonna have a goo. Why are things upside down? It's triggering me. Okay. So we have a goo container. We're gonna have a barometer and a thermometer. Is there anything else we can run science on? I don't think so. Okay. So close this up, and then under it we're gonna have a Science Junior protected by a heat shield, and we should be able to use the same design that we had. We are over the limit in parts, so let's go out and upgrade our assembly. Yeah, we got enough Kerbal bucks for this. So let's go in. Let me just double check that I haven't forgotten anything. We even have radiator panels if we were worried about our science modules here, but I think we should be fine. Got some batteries. Okay, I don't think we need anything else. We should be fine here. So we're gonna save that up. Check our delta V, check our staging. Everything looks fine. Let's go. So hopefully this time we're gonna get a bunch of science out of this. And what we're gonna do is get ready for launch here. 3, 2, 1, go. We're gonna get into orbit again, and the reason we're gonna do that is because we want to just make sure we have like a decent speed to meet our criteria here. And I think just the kind of the mindless way to go about it is just the easiest one. So we just do. We know the last time we were very close to getting it, just a little bit too fast, and it's probably because I got a very big apoapse. Whoa. Oh, okay, I screwed up. I forgot to put winglets on this thing, and our stability is disastrous. Okay, we recovered. We wasted a lot of fuel, but that's fine. So again, we're gonna go business as usual here. Wait until we're close to apoapsis and burn prograde. By the way, that was not something obvious at first. The fact that by burning prograde you kind of extend your or increase your orbit. That was something that took me a few headbutts to figure that out. But oh, I got distracted. Okay, let's just start burning. So we weren't efficient with our maneuvers, but we should be able to still, even if we don't get stable orbit, we're gonna probably be able to do all our missions and everything. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. Does look beautiful, doesn't it? So again, we're just watching our stats here. We don't want our apoapsis to get ridiculously high as it did last time. So if we see that time to apoapsis is raising as it is right now, we might just cut throttle for a bit and just wait for it to catch up a little bit. Again, we just want like a very circular and low orbit. And yeah, what happened there is that I saw we didn't have enough fuel for an orbit and then deorbit. So what I did is just created a suborbital trajectory like this. So we're gonna end up re-entering and we should be fine. So right now we can decouple and we have some science to be done here. So we observe materials bay. Boom, 25 science. Let's open this up. Observe mystery goo. 10 science. The goo seems to have clumped into a sphere. Okay. We log pressure data 12 science. Log temperature data 8 science. So that was quite a bit of science. Now we can close. And we should be able to survive re-entry just fine with this. We have very adequate speed as well to meet our challenge. So I think as long as we don't horribly die in the atmosphere by a mistake from me, we should be totally fine. So let's speed up a little bit until we reach that 60,000 mark, which is where things start to get a little bit scary. And when you're time warping, you also, your ship doesn't update its direction, so you gotta just be a little bit careful with making sure your ass is to the against the forces here. Otherwise you're just gonna go into a ballistic trajectory, and that's just gonna be a disaster for everybody. Can probably speed up a little bit here. I'm a little bit impatient. But yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the mission was a success. Assuming that we're gonna be able to get that. Oh, we didn't get it. What? We were too fast? We were too fast. Okay, now that's pissing me off a little bit. So, okay, let's focus on the task at hand. Even if we don't get the mission, we did get a bunch of science. So let's just focus into getting this baby home, because if we lose our science instruments, we lose the science contained in them. So, you know, we don't want that to happen. So our ablator shield is taking a little bit of punishment. That's fine. You know, funny enough, I read that these things aren't, you might think they are things that absorb a lot of heat, but actually they're designed to dissipate with heat. So so that's why you see that the ablator shield is like being slowly destroyed. It's totally expected. It's not like a Kerbal thing where things are being destroyed for no reason. Some pretty fireworks here. Again, this might look scary, but this is totally fine. This is totally customary, run-of-the-mill re-entry. Totally safe, I promise. Look, Jebediah is not worried. And actually, I forgot to mention, Jebediah leveled up, so what that means is that now we have prograde and retrograde control. So we can say, Jebediah, stay on retrograde. And you can see we're facing the opposite of our direction, just as we want to. That's something that comes in handy very often. I'd say this is pretty instrumental when we start doing more complicated maneuvers and getting out there a little bit more. What is that? That's our debris. Okay. So I'd say we've 100% survived. Our speed is totally manageable here. And there's another information panel that I like to bring up. Not in these maneuvers because they're pretty simple, but when you're landing, you have true altitudes, which in this case matches because, you know, it's pretty flat land. But when you're landing on the moon, this is actually so helpful because, you know, perhaps you're landing on a mountain and, you know, the indicator here tells you based on sea level. So you might think, hey, I still have 2,000 meters leeway, but actually, you know, you're fucked. So this is pretty handy. Also tells you terrain elevation and stuff like that. So dropper shoots, speed up. We know the drill. So Jebediah is getting some experience under his feet here. After these operations, he feels pretty confident, and he's eager to go farther. We have a mission to fly by the moon, and, you know, I think we might be ready to do that. I think we might have what it takes. And if we don't make it, at least we'll recover some valuable science. So recover vessel, let's see, 55 science, nice. No XP, okay, yeah, well, we didn't do anything crazy anyways. So 55 science, can we buy anything cool with that? What do we have? Electrics. Not needed. Not needed. I think rockets is what we want. Let's get a little bit better rockets. Oh, we still can't afford that. Okay, so the Terrier engine is very good. Terrier engine is super efficient in space. You can see the thrust in vacuum is pretty decent, and the fuel consumption is nothing. So this thing lasts for ages. I mean, don't even think of using it in the atmosphere because you can see the thrust is pathetic. But so I think our goal here in preparation for our moon flight is gonna be just save up a little bit of science until we can get the Terrier engine, and then we're good to go. And I'm also suddenly aware of our funds situation. So maybe we have to sell out. Oh, we can't get more missions. Okay, the goddamn heat shield mission. God damn it. Okay, we gotta get this shit done. And I think one of the problems is we just need to be... I'm just trying to think, like, is there a way we can control our speed? We can maybe save our fuel and burn retrograde as we're going into this height range just to slow us down. Might be the way we do it. Might be the way we do it. So, So let's try that quickly here. We can have the same stuff. Oh, actually, we have a probe. So I'm thinking if we were to do this for real before we sent a man to the moon, we'd definitely just send a probe, right? So I'm thinking the next step in our space program here is gonna be sending a probe to the moon. Just fly by the moon. And, you know, if worse goes to worse, we lose a probe, but no lives are lost, and we gain some valuable science. So let's keep our mission here, because we want to get this done. We want to get this shit done. Really do. Okay, so and I made the same mistake again. I didn't add the winglets and therefore didn't have any stability. Oh well. So I think, so my plan here is to attain enough speed to match the parameters there, and also save some fuel for when we're done. For, you know, for when we're about to go into re-entry, then I can just fire my engine in retrograde and just slow us down, because the problem has been that we're always too fast, or we were too slow in our first flights to meet this. So let's try that. So again, we're not aiming for an orbit here. We're gonna go for a suborbital flight. We're gonna make sure we have some fuel left for when we come in. We're gonna keep an eye on our speed here. I'm thinking something like 1800. Should be fine. Okay, so we have 800. Let's just think things through here. So we have 300 delta V for deceleration if we need to, which we don't. We have, I think, an acceptable entry angle as well. We just, the altitude we're gonna meet for sure. So let's do that. I mean, I think we can just ditch our rocket. Maybe try to grab some science again? Okay, a little bit of science. Of course, every time you try to grab science from the same place, you get less science every subsequent try. In this case, 0 science for pressure. Okay, we got some science nonetheless. Not too much. And again, we can use Jebediah's new gained ability to stay retrograde. And we just wait and hope for the best. Again, our speed should stay constant until we reach the atmosphere altitude, which incidentally is the altitude in the parameters. So, okay. Test heat shield. For the love of God. Run test. There you go, motherfucker. Okay. Whew. Okay, that was like way harder than it should have been. So now we have 2,000 kilometers per second speed to reduce. But we've been around the block. We know how this goes. We just make sure we have an acceptable angle. And we have our heat shield to protect ourselves. Look at Jebediah, he's so happy. We should be totally fine here. I mean, I think even up to like 3,000 meters per second is something you can handle with a similar entry. So I'm not too worried about it. And honestly, I'm happy because we got probably just enough science to afford our new engines that we need for the moon flight. So we're probably in a position to go to the moon. And again, instead of putting Jab's life on the line, we'll just use a probe. Now probes have the problem that, you know, you need to have a signal to your probe. And to be honest, I haven't had a lot of experience with probes, so we're gonna have to figure out just how far away we can send a probe and still be able to control it. So just fire our chutes. Again, we know the drill. We just wait until we hit land. So I'm pretty curious about the probe thing. I think our goal will be to send a probe that goes around the moon, just says hi, grabs science from around the moon, and then comes back. So another thing is that you always have the option to transmit your science, but you can see you lose value there. So you're not able to transmit 100% of the science, which, you know, is a big deal. So we want our probe to be able to come back and land, which we should be able to do. So we recover our vessel here. We get that valuable extra science that we needed. We get a little bit of bucks because we completed our mission, and we still have the awesome flyby mission that we're gonna do. I don't think there are any missions here that I'm interested in. Like, these just seem not worth it. Like, they're basically just giving money and a little bit of science, so I'm not even like barely interested in them at the moment. Let's jump into here. We're gonna get our awesome Terrier engines. Boom. And we're ready for the next step in the space program. Next time